welcome to the regular council meeting of the Independence State Council for Monday, February 26, 2018. Thank you for being here. We had to postpone. I don't think this is working. Hold on. Just a moment.
That's like everything.
All right, let's start it all over. Okay, now Mike's here. We can get going. Okay, try this again. All right, welcome to the regular meeting of the Independence State Council for Monday, February 26, 2018. Thanks for being here tonight, and we postponed from last week due to the weather. So we have a lot on the agenda tonight, and following the regular council meeting, we will conduct our regularly scheduled study session as well. I'm going to ask Mayor Pro Tem Chris Whiting to do the invocation. If you would please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you'd all please bow. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight, Lord, very thankful indeed that we can assemble and that we can govern ourselves, and we thank you for that freedom, Lord. Lord, we'd also pray that that freedom would not be taken lightly, but that wisdom would be used to exercise that freedom responsibly from the leaders of this city to the citizens and to all who are affected. Lord, we pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmembers Whiting?
Here.
Perkins?
Here.
Doherty?
Here.
DeLucy?
Here.
Robertson?
Here.
Van Camp?
Here.
Mayor Ware?
Here. Before we begin with our consent agenda, I would like to ask for consideration to suspend the rules of order to allow Alex Burden to speak. He is here to speak on resolution 18715, so I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules of order.
So moved.
Second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes. Okay, this takes us to the consent agenda.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, Councilmember Whiting.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any items any council member wishes pulled for separate consideration? Okay, I'm going to pull item number 3, resolution 18715 and resolution 18716. Will you please call the roll on the consent agenda minus items number 3 and resolutions 18715 and 18716?
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes. Item number 3 is a recommendation to enter into a price agreement with Chandler Thinks for professional branding services. Mr. City Manager, this is something that's been on our radar for some time, and the council gave approval for this to solicit these professional services. So can you just give us a small update on where we are with our branding initiative?
It would be my pleasure. Madam Mayor, members of the council, as you recall, your strategic plan, Independence for All, one of the goals being customer focused. We're really specifically identifying a strategy there to come up with a new marketing and branding strategy for the city of Independence. So council made this a priority in the current fiscal year. This was one of our funded budget items. Staff has gone through what I would describe as a very intensive process of looking for the right fit, and through that evaluation process is recommending Chandler Thinks because of their approach, and some of the communities they work with have been very similar to the demographics and the characteristics and caliber of Independence. So At this juncture, we're recommending the council approve this contract to begin that process. But I also want to highlight, at I believe your next meeting, we've asked the council to provide a slate of names for a citizen oversight committee that would help us serve as a steering committee for this, so that we really do reflect the values, the traits, the characteristics of our community. So I know each of the council members has provided a list of names, and we plan to put that citizens group up for approval at your upcoming meeting afterwards.
Okay, thank you very much. I would move for approval of item number 3.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes. Okay, Resolution 18715 is a resolution authorizing city staff to apply to the Missouri Development Finance Board for tax credits related to the expansion of the Truman Library. As I mentioned, Alex Burden is here from the Truman Library Institute. Alex, if you'd like to come forward.
Mayor and city council members and people in the audience, thank you for having me here today. I appreciate it. And as I think many of you have heard from Kurt Graham and maybe Mayor Ware, the Truman Library is pursuing the most ambitious, in my opinion, the most ambitious project it's ever undertaken, maybe with the exception of when it was originally built in 1955, and they raised a whopping $1.7 million to build that wonderful edifice on the hill. But I just wanted to speak about our plans a little bit, and we are preparing to raise about $25 million for the Truman Library. About 18 of that will be allocated towards the capital project, with the primary elements of the capital project being an expansion of the building, which has been approved by the federal government and the Truman family and the Truman Library Institute's Board of Directors. It's a 3,000 square foot addition on the east side of the building. There'll be a new entryway. There'll be a new ticketing, new gift store. And basically, for those of you who are familiar with the Truman Library, the entrance is going to be switched from the west side to the east side. And that will allow for the exhibit to flow instead of west-east, ending on the opposite side of the building from the Oval Office. The exhibit will now flow and end at the Oval Office, which we all feel like is a more strategic way to do that. It also allows us to have the entire Truman story on one floor instead of split between the main floor and the lower level, where you get his life and times downstairs and you get his presidential years upstairs, and there's the Oval Office. What about the Truman Working Office? All of that, there's a disconnect in the strategy and how visitors access these different. So the primary purpose of expanding and going out to the east is to address those issues, which we feel are fairly strategic and will be very impactful from the visitation standpoint. And then the second main goal is to install a new museum exhibit devoted to Truman's life. The current exhibits are 16 and 18 years old, respectively. And when those exhibits were designed in the late 90s, all of the modern, newfangled interactives and multimedia, audiovisual didn't exist. So, I mean, we're not going to go over the top, but we will make use of some of the modern technologies that are available to better tell the story of the president and his presidency in American history. So, again, $18 million. We're very, very excited about it. Our board's very excited about it. We feel like Missouri Development Finance Board tax credits will be a huge jumpstart to our fundraising campaign. I've already had several multi-million-dollar donor prospects tell me that their gift will be larger if we can get tax credits. So, for us, it's a huge priority. City staff have already been helpful in looking at an application to be submitted ASAP, and I appreciate the council's consideration of, passing a resolution that would allow us to work together. I think I'm correct in saying that probably the bulk of the work will fall on you and your staff in terms of the processing of the tax credits and the mechanics of that, and then the easier job will be to raise the $25 million, knock on wood. So again, we're very excited about what we're doing for the Truman Library. Kurt Graham's done a great job in establishing a new vision and a new direction for the institution. And, we're conducting an economic impact study that kind of assesses what this project will do for Independence, the county of Jackson County, Missouri, the state of Missouri, and I'm very impressed by what they've come up with, both from the operation standpoint of the Truman Library, the actual impact of the construction project, and then what our projections are. The Truman Library had 97,000 visitors last year. We're projecting that that'll grow to 125 once it reopens. And so they've kind of estimated what the increase economic impact will be once the library reopens, and we've got basically about 30,000 more people coming into Independence to visit the Truman Library. It's very impressive, and I think it's a number and a report that the MDFB will not look disfavorably upon. So unless anyone has any questions, I'll shut up and just thank you for your time, and thank you for your consideration of helping us and the things that you've already done. And it's an exciting time for Independence. I know you have a big day tomorrow with your ribbon cutting, and we're proud to be a part of the exciting things that are happening here.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex.
If I may.
Sure, Tom.
When I was out there for the State of the City, the Mayor's State of the City, it's just, it's great that that program went off, but that parking lot was still a mess. If you could put away $1.50, for filling holes out there ahead of time. Thank you.
Were you on the east side or the west side?
It would be the east side.
Yeah, well, that's part of, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because we've had, many of you know Alan Lefko, and we made and went a presentation to Alan, and his first question was, what about the parking? And what about the parking
This isn't
lot?
my first time.
So that is part of the plan, and when the federal government oversaw the design of the current parking lot, they basically put the spaces in the wrong way, so it is, and plus, I mean, it's a mess. But that's part of our external plan, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll address those potholes.
If you find my hubcap.
Anything else?
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
I would move for approval of Resolution 18715.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes. Alex, thanks for coming. This is, we have put in a lot of work together the last couple of weeks trying to prepare this information that the state has requested. And, we're really happy to be able to contribute in a small way towards this project. We can't write you a $25 million check, but we certainly want to do everything that we can to make sure that this project is a success. So as you need our advocacy to go along in receiving these tax credits, please feel free to call on us, and we'll be happy to do that as well.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. Resolution 18716 is related as well to the recreational trail program for seeking federal assistance for the Truman Trail Connection Project Phase 1. Mr. City Manager, we have a lot of trails projects in the plan, so can you speak a little bit to what this project is?
I will. Madam Mayor and members of the council, as you will often hear me say, this too is related to our strategic plan, Independence for All, better linking and connecting our historic sites, our tourism assets, et cetera. So the council heard a presentation from our Director of Public Works, Tim Gramling, a few weeks ago about the projects we were planning to submit as part of the Federal Surface Transportation Program, or STP, funding cycle. That included a project that we're calling the Truman Trail Connector, and as the council will recall, that ran from approximately the Truman Library on the northern end down to the southern city limits around 40 Highway. The goal being to try to string together a number of historic and tourism-related sites to better promote connectivity and walkability, pedestrian activity, et cetera. This particular project would be phase 1 of that. So that would connect from the Truman Library to the southern edge of the McCoy Park. This would not be the STP funds. This would be our Land and Water Conservation Fund that the Parks Department often applies for. But what this would do is commit the council to 20% matching funds if we were awarded the grant, and would allow us to complete phase one of what would hopefully be ultimately a longer stretch, as I mentioned, from Truman Library down to the southern city limits.
Can you describe to us kind of the route that would take?
Yeah, for that, I will bring forward our Director of Parks and Recreation, Eric Erfer, and just get a brief explanation of where specifically we would route that through.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. The trail segment that we're looking at essentially would go from 24 Highway along the southwestern edge of Best Truman Parkway up approximately to where the College Street shelter is, where the National Park Service interpretive site is,
Okay. And would
just
it-
across from those tennis courts.
So are we building an existing trail or just marking along the roadway that's
Yeah,
already there?
there's an existing small sidewalk, thin sidewalk there.
Yeah.
We'd be replacing that sidewalk actually with a 8-foot roadside trail.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, yes.
Would it go under 24 there?
Eventually, yes. We'll wait to make that connection until the
MoDOT.
MoDOT folks figure out exactly how they want to do
Okay.
that, and then we'll
That's what I
we'll go
was
through
wondering.
there. Yeah.
Thanks.
Very good, okay. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Councilmember?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Some good, exciting times between the Truman Library investment and what MoDOT is wanting to do with the bridge there, and working with the city and Truman Library to get that connectivity. So there's a lot of good vibe here, get a lot of good energy to get these trails connected. Thank you for all your effort.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, I would move for approval of Resolution 18716.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes?
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes. Resolution passes. Okay, this brings us to our regular agenda. Our first public hearing is an application received from Top Hat Winery LLC for a malt liquor wine by the drink Sunday sales and a liquor tasting license for the Twisted Vine Winery located at 10916 East Winter Road. This is a full public hearing.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I'm Charlie DeSell, Assistant Community Development Director. As you stated, this is for a malt liquor and wine by the drink license for a new business that'll be located in the Inglewood Arts District. They will have a 2-floor banquet hall and serving area. On the top floor will be for serving by the drink, and then the bottom floor will be for a banquet and rental hall. So if there's not any questions.
Okay, we'll conduct the public hearing, and then we'll have comments or questions from the council. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of this application? See, she's getting braver.
World famous mayor and the council. How's everybody tonight?
Good, how are you doing?
All right, well, as you know, Missy and I, we own Top Hat Winery here on the Independence Square. And we were offered an opportunity to basically duplicate what we have. Not for the manufacturing piece of it, but at least the selling and to bring more people to Inglewood. And as it is an art district, we have really kind of outdone ourselves. I think we have like a 40-foot bar that's covered with pennies. And we have all kinds of cool stuff, art. The bottles will actually be all hand designed. So as you're purchasing a bottle, you're actually going to be able to get an artist's autograph on the back of the bottle and things of that nature. So we are taking the art district for real and actually trying to bring basically a part of what is downtown in Kansas City to Inglewood. And we want to bring it big and heavy and hard. We want to do a lot of fun things. We do actually have the event thing downstairs, which is just for fun, but honestly, we want to try to tie the square and Inglewood. We want to actually be the tie. So we thought that would be kind of a cool deal.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being here. Is there anybody else wishing to speak in support of this application? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Okay, this public hearing is closed. Are there any comments or questions from the council? Okay. Madam City Clerk.
Council action is requested on the application received from Top Hat Winery LLC for a malt liquor wine by the drink Sunday sales and a liquor tasting license for the Twisted Vine Winery located at 10916 East Winter Road. This application requires a 2/3 majority vote for approval due to the residential property being located within 300 feet of the establishment.
Is there any discussion on this bill?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. About a month ago, Councilwoman DeLucy and City Manager Walker and Kristen and I, we all went out there and took a tour of their facility, and you have a great 40-foot barn. That is, how many pennies did you have on there? 25,000 pennies that they glued on that thing. So I really appreciate your investment, your time, and your energy to invest more into the city, into Inglewood. We got a lot of good stuff taking place there, a lot of good things happening. So thank you so much for taking your vision from the square and putting it in Inglewood. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes. Okay, our next public hearing is a public hearing for the application by Moaz Construction Company, Inc., requesting a rezoning from RA Residential Agricultural to C3 Service Commercial for the property located at 19901 East US 40 Highway. This is new information only. Mr. Scannell.
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, Tom Scannell, Community Development Director. There's no new information to report on this case.
Okay, this public hearing, are there any comments or questions from the council? Public hearing is closed. Madam City Clerk.
Bill number 18-013, an ordinance amending the zoning district map as to a tract of ground located at 19901 East US 40 Highway from District RA Residential Agricultural to District C3 Service Commercial in Independence, Jackson County, Missouri. Second and final reading.
Is there any discussion on this bill? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, ordinance passes. Our next public hearing is a public hearing for the application by Richard Cash requesting a rezoning from R6 Single Family Residential to C1 Neighborhood Commercial for the property located at 16800 East Sunset Drive. This is new information only. Mr. Scannell.
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, there's no new information to report on this case.
Are there any comments or questions from the council? Yes, Councilmember Doherty.
Thank you. This is a business owner in my district. He's been a really great person to work with. He maintains a good orderly business, and I think this would be a great thing to have this go ahead and pass tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments from the council? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Madam City Clerk.
Bill number 18-014, an ordinance amending the zoning district map as to a tract of ground located at 16800 East Sunset Drive from District R6 Single Family Residential to District C1 Neighborhood Commercial in Independence, Jackson County, Missouri. Second and final reading.
Is there any discussion on this bill? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, ordinance passes. Our last public hearing is a public hearing for the amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 14 of the Independence City Code relating to donation bins in Section 14-400-09. This is a full public hearing. Mr. Scannell.
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, this is an amendment to the UDO to add additional regulations for donation bins and to allow for the removal of non-compliant donation bins. This has been before the council previously and was remanded back to staff. Staff reworked the ordinance to address some of the council's concerns regarding enforcement on the donation bin owners, which we have included in the ordinance language tonight. We've also lowered the maximum number of donation bins that can be allowed on a property. The previous maximum was, I believe, up to 5. We lowered that down to the maximum number is 2. We've also included in this ordinance that we will enforce upon the bin owners, and that if there are bins that are found in violation of this, staff can, through our code enforcement process, have those bins removed. That completes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Okay, is there anybody present wishing to speak in support of this bill? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Public hearing is closed. Madam City Clerk.
Bill number 18-015, an ordinance amending the Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 14 of the Independent City Code, which will create additional regulations for donation bins and allow for removal of non-compliant donation bins. Second and final reading.
Is there any discussion on this bill? Councilmember DeLucy.
Tom, I had asked you earlier today if there was a sentence in this report that said the donation bins can be placed on the properties without the owner of the property's permission. Did you have a chance to make sure that that's not a correct statement, or is it a correct statement?
That is correct. That was an incorrect statement. Let me say
it's
it
incorrect.
that way. It's an
so
incorrect
if
statement.
I own the property and someone wants to put a donation bin on it, as the owner, I can say, no, you can't. They have to come to you.
That is correct. Yes, yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Any other discussion on this bill? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, ordinance passes. Okay, this takes us to our second readings. Madam City Clerk.
Bill number 18-009, an ordinance amending ordinance number 18750 by adding the acquisition of an easement on one new parcel related to the 16th and Scott Avenue Stormwater and Sanitary Sewer Project, number 701-31503, and number 703-00801, in order to acquire a temporary construction and grading easement for that project. Second and final reading.
Is there any discussion on this bill? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, ordinance passes.
Bill number 18-010, an ordinance finding, determining, and declaring the necessity of acquiring rights-of-way, general utility easements, and temporary construction and grading easements for the Jackson Drive Extension M78 to Truman Road Project, number 701-10606, authorizing the negotiation and eminent domain proceedings if necessary, approving the plans and specifications for the project, authorizing the use of experts as needed, authorizing and directing the execution of documents and the payment of funds to property owners and others holding property rights in conjunction with the project. Second and final reading.
Is there any discussion on this bill? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, ordinance passes.
Bill number 18-011, an ordinance authorizing a contract with the Wilson Group, Inc. for the National Frontier Trails Museum Elevator Project, number 705-71704, for an amount not to exceed $175,278.74, and authorizing the city manager to approve minor change orders not to exceed $17,527.87, and/or time extensions, and making the necessary appropriations. Second and final reading.
Is there any discussion on this bill?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
thank you. This is a long time coming to get that elevator in so we can have the
Yes.
second floor up there. And I want to say thanks to our Park and Recreation Director there. He had a great presentation at the Downtown Committee explaining all of that too. So this is going to be great access.
Access.
Thank you to the second floor of that so we can get all of our bang for the buck from that.
You are correct. This has been a long time coming, and this has been on the wish list for the Friends of the National Frontiers Trails Museum and our Parks and Recreation and Tourism departments for a long time. I'm very pleased, as you may remember, when we had the first reading on this ordinance, we did not yet have ownership of the building. Since that time, we have received the proper documentation from our state capitol to give us ownership of this building. You might remember this was a bill that we worked on last year with Senator Rizzo to convey that property to the City of Independence, which for many, many years, as long as it's been a museum, has been a property of the state of Missouri. So now we are the proud owners of National Frontiers Trails Museum, which makes it much more comfortable to make this kind of an investment. And I'm very excited, as Councilmember Perkins has said, about the presentation that was given to the Downtown Redevelopment Committee about the future plans for the National Frontiers Trails Museum. So this is, yes, certainly a long time coming. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, ordinance passes.
Bill number 18-012, an ordinance amending the definition of financial need for the eligibility of the Truman Memorial Scholarship Fund. Second and final reading.
Is there any discussion on this bill? Mr. City Manager, would you mind just, these are things that just sort of come to our attention from time to time and maybe cause us to do a little bit of review. Can you just take a moment and explain this a little bit?
Yeah, be pleased to. The original enabling legislation for this particular scholarship was restricted to tuition expenses or to help with postgraduate education costs. As tends to happen, I'd say from time to time, the needs have expanded into materials, supplies, so on and so forth associated with those educational expenses. And this legislation would allow more flexibility to the committee to award funding to meet those needs and match those outcomes. So this just makes sure that current practice is aligning with what our enabling legislation ensures.
Okay, so recipients of this Truman Memorial Scholarship Fund, and this is a scholarship fund for teachers. This isn't a scholarship fund for students. And this will allow those monies to be used for classroom supplies or other things, in addition to if they want to apply these scholarship funds to pursuing a higher educational degree or additional professional development.
That's
Is that correct?
absolutely correct.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion on this bill? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, ordinance passes. This takes us to our first readings.
These next two bills received their first reading tonight and their second reading at the next scheduled meeting, which is next Monday. Bill number 18-016, an ordinance finding, determining, and declaring the necessity of acquiring public rights-of-way and temporary construction and grading easements for the Noland and Fair Intersection Improvements Project, number 701-11305, authorizing the negotiation and eminent domain proceedings if necessary, approving the plans and specifications for the project, authorizing the use of experts as needed, authorizing and directing the execution of documents and the payment of funds to property owners and others holding property rights in conjunction with the project. Bill number 18-017, an ordinance to approve amendments to the electric service rules and regulations.
Okay, thank you very much. This brings us to citizens' requests. Our first request is from Erin Murphy, who requests to speak to the council regarding storm damage and drainage backup in her neighborhood. Ms. Murphy? Okay. We've already heard from Alex Burden. Our last citizen request is from Aaron Talcott, to request to speak to the council regarding advanced metering infrastructure. If you'd please just state your name for the record. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Erin Talcott. I live at 1901 South Lake Drive. I found the documentation presented to the PUAB before their vote on AMI January 25th lacking regarding safety, health, and privacy issues. I also did not find any information addressing the issue of higher utility bills to the consumer and the resulting economic impact that will have on residents, businesses, and the city in general. The information provided on safety, security, and privacy was addressed by Census, hardly an objective source in this case. Information was not sought or provided from outside experts that did not have a dog in this hunt. Fire and safety issues are so prevalent that insurance underwriting offices across the U.S. are now contemplating new rules that will specifically deny coverage for fires and damage caused by smart meters. Regarding health, it appears our health department superficially focused on cancer and did not address the plethora of other issues and findings. I have included in an informational packet these findings from the Santa Cruz County Health Services Agency. They concluded there was no scientific data to determine if there is a safe RF exposure level regarding its non-thermal effects. The agency advised against mandatory installation of smart meters based on 1, universal exposure of every household, and 2, involuntary ubiquitous saturation of installation in Santa Cruz County. Likewise, RF exposure here would be occurring in every school, library, business, public bus, and in every home in Independence as well. For these reasons and others, I'm requesting that the City Council continue to research these and other issues surrounding smart meters. We need to look past the dollar signs and thoroughly and carefully consider whether AMI is truly good for our children and citizens. It is not too late to stop this project. Port Angeles, Washington did just that after repeated concern by their citizens. The City Council approved a $1.8 million settlement with Mueller Systems and disbanded their entire smart meter project. If the Council is determined to implement AMI, I am respectfully requesting an analog opt-out program be included. Not a smart meter or digital opt-out, as those meters have the same issues as regular smart meters, but an analog opt-out. The examiner has reported the meter reader positions will not be cut, but will be transitioned to new positions with the same pay. So why not keep a few of those meter readers for those of us who want to keep our analogs? Secondly, I'm requesting if an analog opt-out program is set up that we are not punished for using it. We should not have to pay more for a meter that is already in place. These programs have been implemented all across the nation. Fees for these programs range from a minimal upfront or monthly fee, while some do not charge any additional fees at all. For example, New Mexico Gas Company does not charge any fees to keep their analogs, and customers send in their own meter readings once a month. If other cities' utility companies can provide analog opt-outs, Independence surely can too. On the other hand, utility companies who have charged exorbitant fees to keep analogs or have not allowed opt-out programs are now facing legislation by states to eliminate and reduce and regulate opt-out fees. Let's do this right. Let's avoid the headaches, no pun intended, that come with involuntary mandatory smart meter installation. Let's put the citizens of Independence ahead of the dollar signs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And I have.
Okay, this takes us to council member comments. I will start on my left with Councilman Van Camp.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Councilman Robertson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to publicly thank the Independence Rotary Club for the Mardi Gras celebration that they held a little over a week ago that is a significant help in funding the farmers market. And so I publicly wanted to thank the Rotary Club. I don't know if there's any Rotarians here. I think there's one or two. So thank you so much. Just also wanted to announce that tomorrow is the Kiwanis Chili Day. So the other service club in town is having their big chili day tomorrow down at Stone Church. So everyone is invited to that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councilmember DeLucy.
9 a.m. tomorrow, I believe, is our farmers market groundbreaking. Everybody's invited.
Thank you. Councilmember Doherty.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Councilmember Perkins.
I too want to thank the Rotarians. I believe they collected $375,000. I mean, this is a great partnership to help move Independence forward, to bring some more vitality to Independence Square. I think that was really awesome. And speaking of Inglewood, other than the Twisted Vine that's going in there, I'd like to do a little shout out to Tammy and B Vogue. They have been awarded the Small Business of the Year, so congratulations to them.
Very good. Thank you. Councilmember Whiting.
Nothing tonight.
Well, I'll just add my appreciation to the Rotary Club for their tremendous effort with the Mardi Gras fundraiser and soliciting the private contributions to help make this farmers market project possible. It's a great assistance to us, and I don't know that we have the final numbers yet, but it will certainly be over $300,000 of private contributions to help with this project. And we are on a fast track to get this project completed. And it all starts tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with the groundbreaking, as Councilmember DeLucy had said. But it's really, you know, I like to say we've, you know, really developed a formula here for success, and we certainly can look forward to identifying more projects to partner with the business community, with the Chamber of Commerce, with our Economic Development Corporation, with the citizens and the businesses, and really the surrounding metropolitan area to make these projects happen in our city. So thanks again to all who have made this possible. Mr. City Manager, anything else this evening?
Just a quick update on a few items, Madam Mayor, members of the council. First of all, I wanted to publicly thank the council for your approval on your consent agenda tonight of the $64,000 to continue funding dangerous building demolitions. That was a very important statement of the council's priority, and staff appreciates that much, and will make sure that we're able to continue the projects we have in the pipeline. Related to that, a very expensive demo that council awarded a contract to earlier this year, 1010 Hayward, also known as the old Foundry building. Wanted to update the council that they are in the process now of doing, the contractor doing utility kills, and will be proceeding with demolition very soon. So we'll keep the council and the public updated on that major priority. And also just wanted to, the council a few weeks ago awarded some of their council goals funding to help support the Downtown Redevelopment Coordinating Committee, providing some professional assistance. That group has now completed their review of the 14 different plans that was within their scope. That professional services group, CFS, is now in the process of scoring those and helping the committee narrow down to that final plan and recommendation. So we look forward to sharing those findings with the council later this spring or early this summer.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to adjourn this council meeting. We will take a 5-minute recess, and then we will convene the study session. We are adjourned. Jeez.
With authority.
Yeah, right.
Marathon tonight.
Yes.
Reading material?
No.
You're welcome.